Imagine this. You sit down to work on something important, a project, a business idea, a presentation, maybe even a goal that could genuinely change your life. Then your phone lights up. Just one notification. You check it for 5 seconds. 5 seconds become 2 minutes. 2 minutes become 10. And before you realize it, the most important hour of your day is gone. Now, here's the scary part. The biggest cost of distractions isn't the time you lose. It's the life you never build because your attention was spent somewhere else. And today, we're going to uncover the hidden cost of constant distractions, why they're more dangerous than most people realize, and how they're quietly stealing your productivity, your income, your happiness, and even your future. Let's dive in. We live in the most distracted era in human history. Never before have so many companies competed so aggressively for one thing: your attention. Every notification, every email, every breaking news alert, every social media update, every recommendation algorithm, they're all fighting for the same limited resource. The problem is that attention isn't unlimited. It's finite. And where your attention goes, your life follows. Most people think distractions are harmless. Just a few minutes here, a quick scroll there, a short interruption. But distractions behave like tiny leaks in a ship. One leak seems no dangerous. Hundreds of leaks eventually sink the entire vessel. By the end of this video, you'll see distractions in a completely different way, not as minor inconveniences, but hidden taxes on your potential. Let's start with a simple truth. Your attention has become a product. Think about the largest companies in the world: social media platforms, streaming services, news outlets, gaming companies, advertising networks. Most of them make money when they capture and hold your attention. The longer you stay engaged, the more profitable you become. In other words, some of the smartest engineers, psychologists, designers, and data scientists on Earth are working every day to keep your eyes on a screen. Not because they dislike you, because attention generates revenue. Imagine walking through a shopping mall where every store owner follows you around, constantly shouting your name. That would feel exhausting. Yet that's essentially what happens digitally every day. Notifications, messages, alerts, recommendations, suggestions, updates. The result? Most people spend their entire day reacting rather than creating. And that creates a serious problem. Because successful people are usually creators of value. Distracted people become consumers of value. The difference changes everything.
Most people believe distractions cost time. That's true, but it's not the biggest cost. Imagine someone interrupts you while you're deeply focused. You respond to a text, check an email, look at a notification, then return to work. Seems harmless. Except your brain doesn't instantly jump back into deep focus. Research consistently shows that attention residue remains after switching tasks. Part of your mind stays attached to the previous activity. Your concentration becomes fragmented. It's like trying to sprint while dragging a parachute behind you. You might still move forward, but not at full capacity. Now imagine this happening 20, 30, or 50 times per day. The result isn't just lost minutes, it's lost cognitive performance. And that's where the real damage begins. Because high-value work requires uninterrupted thinking, strategic planning, problem-solving, learning, writing, innovation, decision-making. These activities live in deep focus. Distractions destroy deep focus. And without deep focus, your best work never fully emerges. Chapter 3. Distractions are compounding losses. Most people understand compound interest in money, but very few understand compound losses in attention. Let's look at an example. Suppose distractions steal 2 hours from your day. That doesn't sound catastrophic, but over 1 year, that's more than 700 hours. That's nearly 18 full work weeks. Think about what could happen in 700 focused hours. You could learn a new skill, launch a side business, master a language, write a book, build a portfolio, get promoted, transform your health. Yet many people lose those hours in fragments too small to notice. That's the danger. The loss is invisible. Nobody sees a dramatic warning sign. No alarm goes off. No one tells you that today's distractions just delayed your goals by 6 months. The cost arrives quietly, then compounds year after year. Chapter 4. The confidence drain. Here's a hidden consequence that almost nobody talks about. Distractions don't just hurt productivity, they damage confidence. Think about how confidence is built. You set goals. You make progress. You see results. You trust yourself more. That's confidence. Now imagine constantly getting distracted. Projects remain unfinished. Plans stay incomplete. Tasks accumulate. Deadlines get pushed. Goals move further away. Eventually, you begin questioning yourself. You wonder why you're not progressing. You assume the problem is motivation or discipline or intelligence. But often the real issue is fragmented attention. You can't build confidence from unfinished work. Confidence comes from evidence, and evidence comes from consistent execution. Every distraction interrupts that process. Chapter 5. The myth of multitasking. Many people pride themselves on multitasking. It feels productive. Answering emails while attending meetings, checking messages while working, watching videos while studying. Doing multiple things at once creates the illusion of efficiency. But neuroscience tells a different story. What we call multitasking is usually rapid task switching. Your brain jumps back and forth between activities. Each switch carries a mental cost. Imagine driving a car while repeatedly shifting gears every few seconds. Eventually, the ride becomes inefficient and exhausting. That's exactly what happens mentally. Your brain burns energy switching contexts. You feel busy, but busyness isn't productivity. Productivity means producing meaningful results. And meaningful results almost always require focused attention. The highest performers in business, sports, science, and the arts understand this deeply. They protect focus, because focus creates excellence. Chapter 6. The distraction trap of modern technology. Technology itself isn't the enemy. In fact, technology can be one of the greatest productivity tools ever created. The problem is unconscious usage. Think about your phone. It's simultaneously a camera, a calendar, a calculator, a communication device, a news source, an entertainment center, a shopping mall, a gaming console, and a social platform, all in your pocket. The challenge is that every productive function sits next to countless distractions. You open your phone to check one thing. 20 minutes later, you're watching content you never intended to see. This isn't accidental. Modern platforms are designed to reduce friction. One click becomes another. One video becomes 10. One notification becomes a rabbit hole. The result is attention drift. Slowly and silently, your priorities get replaced by other people's priorities. And that's one of the most expensive trades a person can make. Chapter 7. The opportunity cost of distraction. Let's talk about opportunity cost. In economics, opportunity cost is the value of what you give up when you choose one option over another. When you spend an hour scrolling, you're not just spending an hour scrolling. You're also giving up everything else that hour could have become. A workout, a business plan, a conversation with family, a new skill, a financial opportunity, a creative breakthrough. The cost isn't the activity itself. The cost is the alternative future you never created. This is why successful people become extremely protective of their attention. They understand that attention is the starting point of every achievement. Before success exists externally, it exists internally as focused attention. No attention, no progress. No progress, no results. Chapter 8. Why deep work feels harder than ever. Many people say they can't focus like they used to, and they're often right. Focus functions like a muscle. What happens when a muscle isn't trained? It weakens. The same thing happens with attention. Every time we interrupt ourselves, we strengthen the habit of distraction. Every time we seek instant stimulation, we reduce our tolerance for sustained effort. Over time, silence feels uncomfortable. Thinking feels difficult. Deep work feels exhausting. Not because we're incapable, because we've conditioned our brains to expect constant novelty. The good news? The process can be reversed. Attention can be rebuilt. Focus can be trained. Deep work can become natural again, but only if we intentionally practice it. Chapter 9. How to reclaim your attention. So how do we fight back? Start with awareness. Track where your attention actually goes. Not where you think it goes, where it actually goes. Next, remove necessary triggers. Disable non-essential notifications. Create periods of uninterrupted work. Keep your phone out of reach during deep tasks. Schedule specific times for email and social media. Protect your mornings whenever possible. For many people, the first few hours of the day contain their highest mental energy. Don't donate that energy to distractions. Invest it in meaningful work. Another powerful strategy is creating focus blocks. 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. During those blocks, work on one thing and one thing only. No switching, no checking, no reacting. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Then it becomes a superpower. Because in a distracted world, focus is increasingly rare. And rare skills become valuable. Chapter 10. The people who win the future. Here's a prediction. The future won't belong to the people with the most information. Information is everywhere. The future will belong to the people who can focus. People who can think deeply, learn continuously, solve meaningful problems, and resist constant distraction. In a world overflowing with noise, attention becomes a competitive advantage. Those who control their attention will control their direction. Those who control their direction will shape their future. The gap between distracted people and focused people may become one of the biggest performance gaps of the modern era. And that gap is growing every year. Conclusion and CTA. So let's return to the question we started with. What is the hidden cost of constant distractions? It's not just lost time. It's lost opportunities, lost progress, lost confidence, lost creativity, lost income, lost potential, and perhaps most importantly, lost versions of yourself that never get the chance to exist. Because every meaningful achievement begins with attention. Attention becomes focus. Focus becomes action. Action becomes results. Results become your future. The good news is that attention can be reclaimed. Starting today, one notification at a time, one focus session at a time, one intentional decision at a time. If you found this video valuable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And in the comments, answer this question. What is the biggest distraction currently stealing your attention? Awareness is the first step towards change. Thanks for watching. And remember, your future is shaped by what you pay attention to today.